Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Sunday, which means it's time for another episode of Gunnarolla University. Today's class is about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and possibly the only topic that I can speak credibly on, airline loyalty. Because if you can't be loyal to an airline, how can you be loyal to yourself? Not sponsored, do not quote me on that. I asked you on Twitter if you're part of a frequent flyer program, and as it turns out, half of you are not. So let's first clear up what frequent flyer programs are and what they can do for you. Misconception number one, it's not worth the fees. Well, the majority, if not all, frequent flyer programs actually don't have any fees. They're loyalty programs just like Starbucks rewards or the points you get for seeing movies. They're not to be confused with co-branded credit cards, which do have an annual fee and higher interest rates, but allow you to collect points more quickly. Misconception number two, I don't fly enough to collect a significant amount of points. While it's true that you'll probably collect the most amount of points and miles by flying, with most of these programs you can actually also get them by visiting participating shops, restaurants, hotels, car rentals, gas stations, online stores, or using a co-branded credit card. Misconception number three, I can't collect points or miles because I only fly for work. With most of these programs, it's actually the passenger who's entitled to the points, not the company who books the flight. Misconception number four, I will never have enough points or miles to get a free flight. That might be true, but you need to remember that a frequent flyer program can provide you four things. One, flight rewards, which can be difficult to obtain if you don't have a ton of points or miles. Two, with most of these programs, you can actually use your points or miles towards upgrades for your next flight. Three, your qualifying points or miles can count towards your status with an airline, which gives you a whole ton of perks, which we'll get to in a second. And four, with the majority of these programs, you can actually use your points and miles towards goods, services, gift cards, charitable contributions, or magazine subscriptions. So now that we've cleared up the misconceptions, let's talk about how to choose a program and what having status with an airline can mean for you. So most major airlines are part of what we call an Airline Alliance, and the airlines that are part of the same family will work together to offer you, the traveler, the most options when it comes to destinations and flight times. At the time of making this video, there are three major alliances: Star Alliance, which has airlines such as Air Canada, United, and Lufthansa; One World, which includes American Airlines, British Airways, and Cathay Pacific; and SkyTeam, which has Delta, KLM, Air France, and more. Some airlines like Alaska and WestJet have made their own agreements where you can collect with their airline partners, and there are programs for low-cost carriers like AirAsia. Now, should you stay loyal to one alliance or one airline? If you fly long-haul flight a year or several domestic, then I would say it is worth it because these flights count towards your elite status with an airline, and having elite status will change your life. With elite status, you can get things like increased baggage allowance, priority check-in, priority boarding, priority baggage, which means that your bags come out on the conveyor first, a dedicated helpline and concierge service, and lounge access where you can have anything from free food to showers to just a space to relax away from the chaos of economy travelers in an airport. Yeah, I'm a bit of a snob now. Now, which alliance should you be loyal to? Well, it depends on which airport you fly out. Every airline has an airport hub, which is where they funnel the most passenger traffic and flight operations through. For example, O'Hare International Airport in Chicago is a big airport for United, Delta's biggest hub is in Atlanta, and Heathrow is a hub for British Airways. So if you've ever wondered why your United flight always seems to connect through Denver or Chicago, it's because it has hubs in those cities. I fly a ton out of Toronto Pearson International Airport, and I have status with Air Canada, which means that I have status with all of its Star Alliance partners. When I fly through Canada, I fly Air Canada. When I fly through the States, I fly United. If I'm traveling to Asia, I'll travel with EVA Air, Thai Airways, or Singapore Airlines. And if I'm in Europe, I prefer Lufthansa or one of their many European airline partners. Staying loyal to one alliance or airline is not always the cheapest option, but for someone like me who travels a lot, it's really important to maintain my elite status. Not only do I like the airlines that are part of Star Alliance, but it's really helpful to have access to priority services at the airport and to not have to pay to check a bag because I often travel with gear. Now, even if you don't fly a lot, there are still good reasons to be part of a frequent flyer program. As I've already mentioned, you can use your points and miles towards things that aren't big ticket items like flights. If you want to be one of those people who gets unexpectedly upgraded to business class if a seat opens up, airlines have a whole checklist of things that they look for, and one of them is who is part of the frequent flyer program and has status with the airline. So in summary, if you couldn't tell, I'm a big fan of frequent flyer programs. Even if you don't fly a ton, it's worth collecting points and miles because they can always be used for other things. It's basically like a currency that you can't exchange for cash, unfortunately. but gift cards are nice. Whether or not you stay loyal to one alliance or airline really depends on how often you fly and whether the perks are important to you. It's more affordable than ever to fly, and there's a ton of competition, and airlines want your loyalty. So do your research, figure out which airlines have hubs in your city, and the next time you fly, make sure to collect those points and miles. In the comments below, let me know which topics you'd like to cover in an upcoming episode of Gunnarolla University. We have class every Sunday. I'll see you next time. À la prochaine!